All right, boys and girls, today we are going to be in lesson 2 of your module 1 through 9 book, page 99. So we're moving to the second lesson, and we are going to use our unit cubes like we did yesterday, and it's going to help us understand this word volume. So yesterday we were finding volume. We didn't necessarily call it volume, but we were finding volume whenever we were finding how many solid or how many units were in a solid figure. So we're going to continue to use those cubes to find the volume of these right rectangular prisms. They're right rectangular because at their edges they make right angles. So let's start looking. A toy company's engineers determined that the best way to package number cubes with a 1 unit length into a single box is to stack them in the shape of a right rectangular prism. How many different kinds of prisms could this number of cubes be stacked in? Oh, I love doing this. This is so much fun to me. So we're going to look and see what we've got, and then we're going to create all the different ways we can do that. Now, if you have cubes, you can definitely use them. If you don't, it's okay. So let's first see what they have here. So we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 units long, 1, 2, 3, 4 units wide, and 1, 2, 3 units tall. So I know 4 times 4 is 16, and now 16 times 3 is 48. So I know that my stack has to have 48 cubes. So now I'm going to think of how many ways I can make 48, really. And I love doing this because there are so many different ways. So think of numbers that you know multiply together to give you 48. So you might think, oh, I know 8 times 6 is 48. That's great, but remember, when we have volume, we have length, width, and height. So if we use 1 as one of our dimensions, that will help that work just fine. So we could have 8 units by 6 units, and it's only 1 tall, and that also gives me 48. And y'all, you can switch this and do lots of different ways, because if you have 1 unit long by 8 units wide and 6 units tall, that figure is going to look way different than this figure. Okay? What about 4 times 3? That's 12, and 12 times 4 is 48. So this one's going to look similar to that, but I am not making the same thing. It's 4 units long, 3 units wide, and 4 units tall. Where this one was 4 long, 4 wide, 3 units tall. So this one's shorter. And I want you to just think of all the different things. I mean, technically you can do 48 times 1 times 1. Now that's going to take up a lot of space, but 48 long, 1 wide, and 1 tall, yep, it'd be 1 long line of boxes. But technically, it is a right rectangular prism. So, see how many you can come up with for this. Alright, let's turn the page. The picture shows a box designed to pack game cubes. Each game cube is the size of a unit cube. So you're packing up these game cubes and they're all 1 unit. How many game cubes can be packed into the bottom layer with no gaps or overlaps? So we're just looking at that bottom layer. So remember, if this is a solid figure, even if we can't see some of those units, we know they're there. So I like to count and see how many we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units long, and 1, 2, 3 units wide. So that means my bottom layer, even though I can't see it all, this is a solid figure. So I know it's 8 units long and 3 units wide. So I know that the bottom is 24 units because the length is 8 and the width is 3. This is sometimes called the base or the bottom of your unit. All right, how many layers can be packed into one box? How many layers? How much are we stacking it up? There are 4 layers because I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 high. This is 4 height. How many game cubes can be packed so it's full? There's no gaps or overlaps. You're going to hear that word, no gaps or overlaps, because they wouldn't want you to just stick another one up here is what they're saying. It's got to be solid. That's what no gaps or overlaps means. So I can just use my math. I know the bottom is 24, and then if I have 4 layers of 24, that's like 24 times 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So there can be 96 of those game cubes here. Now, the volume of the box can be found by finding the number of game cubes it takes to fill it. Since each game cube is a unit, what is the volume? So the volume is 96 cubic units. Cubic means that length, width, and height. Because it has those 3 dimensions, cubic units. All right. If we turn to the next page, 101. A craft store packages cube-shaped beads. Each bead is 1 centimeter. There are no gaps or overlaps. How many beads are shown? So again, we need to use what we know. If we know and it tells us there is, it's solid, then we can just use our dimensions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units long. 1, 2, 3, 4 units wide. Let's see how tall it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units tall. So I can use that math to help me. I know 9 times 4 is 36. So over here to the side, I can multiply 36 times 6 because I don't know it right off. 6 times 6 is 36. 18, 19, 20, 21. 216 beads are shown. So the volume is 216 cubic centimeters because it told us that they were 1 centimeter long. And if they're an inch, the volume of it would still be 216 cubic inches. All right, let's look here. A warehouse receives a shipment of cube-shaped boxes that measure a foot along each edge. If they're stacked like it's shown, what's the volume? So it's saying these are measured in feet. So I know my answer is going to be in feet. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units wide. 1, 2, 3, 4 units tall. I know 6 times 6 is 36. I don't know 36 times 4 right off the top of my head. So 4 times 6 is 24. 12, 13, 14. 144 cubic feet. And then here, find the volume. Again, I know I'm going to do my length, width, and height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units wide. 1, 2, 3 units tall. I know 7 times 5 is 35. And 35 times 3, 3 times 5 is 15. 105. And these are just units. So I'm going to say cubic units. Alright guys, so for your homework today, you are looking at some more figures just like these, and you are solving to figure out how many there are. Remember, you can't see them all, but if you know they're a solid figure, you can look for that length, width, and height and figure that out.